Hello friends, and welcome to Escaping the Mouse with your host, me, Breck Roll. Alright, it's kind of a rainy, misty day here in Waco, and I got a little work I got to do on the swimming pool. Let me show you what the problem is. We are definitely into the fall season right now, and this tree here has been dropping its leaves pretty crazy, and is almost done now. And yesterday I was out here kind of raking the leaves, kind of getting ready to go over it with a lawnmower, because I use the lawnmower to vacuum it all up and bag it, and it's really easy to do that. And when I was out here looking around, I happened to take a look at the filter housing for the pool pump, and I realized that at some point I destroyed this little pressure gauge on here. I think what was happening is the ladder is stored right above it, and I think when I was taking the ladder down to put some of the decorations in the trees out front, I think I probably dropped the ladder on it and smashed that little pressure gauge. So I need to go figure out if I can replace that. Now I've been looking all over this this filter housing here to try and see if I can find a model number for it. It's clearly a Doughboy unit, and when I look back here, there is actually a label back there that gives me a little bit of information. So but I can't get my head back there. So what I did is I kind of put the cell phone camera behind it and snapped a photo, and that at least kind of gave me an idea of what I was looking for. I did know it was a Doughboy filter housing because it literally says so on the side, but I didn't know what the model number or anything was. But I went online, found the Doughboy website, and they had a listing of a local distributor in Belmead. And Belmead is just a little bit north of Waco, and so I decided to go out there and decided I'm going to go out there and see if I can figure out something. Now, since this is the only Doughboy place in town, there's also an additional possibility to get some information here, and that information is there's some maintenance stuff that needs to be done on this filter housing, including replacing the sand on a regular basis. And in order to know when to replace it, you have to know when it was installed. Well, I don't have that information from the original owners of this house, and so I'm hoping that since this is really the only Doughboy pools place in town, that maybe this was the place that they got the pool and they got the filter housing, and maybe they have a record of when the sand was bought. So with a little luck, hopefully we're going to be able to go out there, find the pressure gauge I need, and also maybe get a little information about this pool. So let's go to Belmead. Alright, I'm back from the pool place in Belmead, and I'm in luck. They had the filter pressure gauge in stock. They had it right there for me. I'm also doubly in luck because this is the place that the previous owners came to when they had this pool installed, and so they had detailed information about when the pool was installed. The pool was put in 2015, and they replaced the sand a couple years later. So they printed out tons and tons of information that gives me an idea of when the sand has been replaced and when different parts of the pool were added or replaced. So I got a ton of information about that, and that's great news. Now I know that I probably do need to replace the sand, which I'll probably do when we get closer to summer here and when I get the cover off the pool. But first thing I want to do today is I want to get that pressure gauge reinstalled. So let's get going on that. Now I expect this task is actually going to be pretty easy because the little pressure gauge just kind of screws into the side of the filter housing there. And so all I got to do is remove the old one, put the new one back on. So I think what I'm going to do first off is I am going to turn off the pump. Now I'm going to go into the garage and get a crescent wrench here, and we're going to unscrew this part. Alright, now like I said, I shut off the pump, and what I also want to do, I think, is I want to close these valves over here, because sometimes the weight of the water pressure from the pool can be enough that water will kind of shoot out of any holes that you open up here. So actually I'm going to need both hands to close that one. That one's a little tight, so I'll catch up with you in a second. And then I'm just going to use my box wrench here And we're just going to remove this old damaged pressure gauge here. You can see I totally destroyed that thing. Put the wrench over here because I don't need that. It's finger tight now. Yeah, see, got a little bit of water squirting out of there, but not too bad. So yeah, I totally destroyed that thing, didn't I? But that's okay. We got a new one and it wasn't terribly expensive. Alright, we got a little bit of a problem here. I think I'm going to have to go back to the pool place because this fitting is not the right size. This one's a little bit bigger than this one. So since I got this one off, I'm going to bring this one back and we'll replace it and we'll get it all worked out. Sometimes that happens, you know, when they're just eyeballing the part. So thought maybe we had the right thing, but not exactly. Back to the pool place. Alright, I'm back from the place again. Got the right thing this time. Unfortunately, they had just one more of these left. In fact, when I went in there initially, they didn't think they had any of the right ones. They had the smaller fittings, but not this one. But they looked around, they found this one. And so I've already tried it a little bit just to make sure it works. And it does. So I'm going to put a little Teflon tape on it. This one actually came with a little bit of Teflon tape, but I'm going to put a little bit more on there just to make sure we get a good seal. And then we'll screw that back on and we'll be in good shape. And the point of the Teflon tape, in case you weren't sure, is just to make sure you get a good seal and there aren't any leaks through the threads, because you don't want this thing leaking all over the place. So that's all ready to go now. Let's just screw it back in. Alright, got it finger tight. I'm just going to lock it down with the box wrench here. Just get it nice and well sealed there. I also want to make it positioned so that the gauge is pointing up, because it's nice to be able to read it that way. Alright, I think we're good to go. Let's fire the pump back up and see what happens. Almost don't see anything recorded on the valve here. Oh, of course not. I didn't open the valves here. Duh. There's no input, no output. Of course you're not going to get any water pressure going through there. Oh, that one's hard. Need both hands here. Sorry. So I realized something was wrong here because I opened up the water source here and I didn't see any water flowing here. It's like, why am I not seeing any water flowing? Oh, yeah, right. Duh. Alright, let's try this again. There we go, that's better. That's what you want to see. So it looks like we got about 6 or 7 psi in there. So I don't see any leaking around here. So I'm actually going to get a rag and kind of dry everything off, just so that over time, if there is any leak, I'll be able to tell. But right now everything seems to be working fine. It was also kind of a good idea to replace this little pressure gauge anyway, because the little plastic dial on top of it had been baked by the sun so much you could hardly see it anymore. So there's a big difference between that and now, right? So that was good to do. Cost me all of $13 for the pressure meter and a couple trips to Belmead, but now this should be good, and I'll just have to remember to be a little bit more careful when I'm taking the ladder down. But like I said, it was time well spent, because in addition to getting that piece replaced on there, I also found out a lot of information about this pool, which will be helpful in maintaining it in the future. So I think that was a good thing to do, and we're back in working order now. Everything looks like it's working really well, and now we just got to wait for summer again. So anyway, I think that's all that I have for today. Thank you as always for watching, and I'll see you next time on Escaping the Mouse. Good night.